How many of you believe Joseph was the last born? How many of you believe Joseph was the last born? People are not risking. How many of you sincerely don't know? And they don't care. Joseph was not the last born, but coincidentally he was being treated as if he was the last born. If you like titles for sermonettes, call this activating your dreams. Activating your dreams. Joseph was a dreamer. He had a younger brother called who? Benjamin. Those are the people who went to Sunday school, isn't it? Benjamin must have been much smaller because Joseph seemed to jealously guard him because Benjamin, just after he was born, his mother went to be with the Lord, and Joseph seemed to be this elder brother who was the brother's keeper taking care of him. But there was a unique bond between Joseph and Jacob. And to save on time, one of the strong bonds between Joseph and Jacob was the fact that both of them were dreamers. You remember Jacob, when he was trying to find his way back, and it became very dark, and right in the middle of the night, he felt sleepy, and he decided not to sleep on a 6x6 bed, but on a rocky floor, and used a big stone as a what? As a pillow. And a few minutes after that, what did he see? He saw angels climbing down a ladder and climbing up. He was dreaming. He was dreaming. His son Joseph, I would say, made it even better. He had several dreams, but his dreams were nightmares to his brothers. They are dreams that you have that people will not believe. That person seated next to you in the next few years will be Dr. Dr. Kiplimo. If you tell that to your younger brother or your neighbor, they may just snare at you and say, you used to be number one from the other end. How do you think, or why do you think that the title PhD should be written against your name? Let's be dreamers. Let's be dreamers. And I think Joseph almost made a career out of dreaming. But his dreams were not just random dreams. Those who teach psychology, like my sister Ann Dongo, will tell you that dreaming happens at the peak of one's sleep. We call it the REM, the rapid eye movement phase of your sleep. I'm a biologist, by the way, I'm not a pastor. So if you are watching somebody, supposing you lose your sleep, and you're watching somebody sleeping next to you, and you see their eyes moving quickly, just know they are dreaming. And there are some of you who cheat us that they never dream. I want to correct you. Those who are able to record the dreams can tell about the dreams the following morning. Those whose memories are full, the dream will try to load, and the memory will say, memory full. Try tomorrow. So if you ask them, what were you dreaming? They say, I never dream. For me, I never dream. So we all dream at some point. But the dreams you're talking about this morning are dreams that shape our future. There is that which God has uniquely placed in you. There is the investment that God put in your DNA. I wish you had a similar level of understanding of biological sciences like I do. When I speak of DNA, I get perplexed, I get amazed. The blueprint of life is so simple, yet very, very complicated. Did you know that 99%, don't put 0.9, if you put 0.9, you change gears. Did you know that 99% of the genes that you have, the DNA that you have, is a replica of the DNA found in monkeys and chimpanzees? So we are not very different from a chimpanzee. But that point, after that period, is when the humanity side of it kicks in. Dreams. So the big man of the house, called Pharaoh, loses his sleep, and he dreams. And he dreams something funny. Not too funny, I think scary. Sometimes we read the Bible too fast until we don't really get it. Let me try to help you be in Pharaoh's dream. Supposing in the middle of the night, when your husband and siblings are away, you start dreaming exactly what Pharaoh dreamed. What did he dream? How were the cows described? He fell asleep again and had a second dream. Not the second dream. The second one was not as scary. The first one was a little bit scary. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. I think that's a nice one, isn't it? Especially for people in Nakuru, you have very nice Frisian cows. After them, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. Could you have continued sleeping? When you see plump, allow me to use the word plump, probably to bring it home to the young people. When you see hippie cows, hippie from the word hips, catwalking and enjoying green grass, big and nice and soft. Then some gouty, ugly-looking, thin cows, struggling, looking like a skeleton, emerge, and they eat the hippie cows. I'm sure you'll wake up, isn't it? I've only seen cows eat grass. The farthest they can go is to eat plastic. Those days when we were careless. But I've never seen cows eat cows. And the amazing thing here, if you read thereafter, you realize that the ugly, thin cows did not change an inch, even after eating the hippie cows. I think that was even more scary, isn't it? When he tried to sleep, God decided, okay, we move from the animal kingdom to the plant kingdom. If you have not been very scared on this side, we'll scare you on this other side. Long story cut short, Pharaoh could not sleep, and he looked for the best of the best. Remember, Egypt was the superpower of those days, the most intellectual, the first-class honors, the PhDs, the innovators were situated in Egypt. And he looks for the best of the best, but nobody can interpret his dream. But one of his servants comes to him and remembers, oh, my dear, I used to be in jail. And in jail, there was a young man called Joseph. Forgive me, I forgot about him. I had this dream. Long story cut short, my friend was put to the gallows. He was killed. And here I am. You reinstated me as the cupbearer. The cupbearer is the current equivalent of a controller of State House, a very high-ranking officer in Pharaoh's palace. And he went and brought Joseph. Joseph was not just in jail. Other versions call it dungeon. I don't know what is the difference between a jail and a dungeon. Anybody who has been jailed? At least not me. Anybody who has been in a police cell? Now here I must get somebody. You are loitering or you refuse to cooperate with the traffic. My wife was once put in a police cell in Naivasha for just failing to use the belt on a public transport. And somebody had just alighted, and she stood up to allow the person to walk out. And before that, she was using her belt. When she went back to take her seat, she did not buckle up. A few meters from there, then the famous Naivasha police waved them down, and they didn't want to hear anything. She was doing her PhD at Egerton. Thank God she finished. She has never been as scared as that. Anytime we see anybody in blue, whether you're a watchman or a policeman, I have to sort them. I've had to build her confidence a little more. by having very chatty moments with police. If you meet police and you call them officer and you ask them how the day is and you give them 200 bob before they ask you, they just wave you to continue, even if they had some offense. Of course, I try to keep to the law because I don't want to bribe. But they also deserve some attention, don't they? Yeah, don't they look nice in those vibuyus?